It's time now for us to move on. I want your calls on this. Is it a duty of a school to provide toothbrushes to children? Now, a third of 3 to 5-year-olds is in the most deprived areas in England have suffered from tooth decay. So now free toothbrushes and toothpaste are being dished out at nurseries, preschools and reception classes to tackle what is being called an oral health crisis. And in some instances, children were being admitted to hospital to get their teeth removed. So I'd like to know if you agree with this. Is this the school's duty to do this? 0207 862 2222 is the number that you need. Paula, it is quite shocking that the sort of number one reason for really young kids to go to hospital is tooth decay.
Absolutely, and I think that's in the ages of 5 to 9, Alexis. And, you know, you say this is really shocking, but when I was looking back over the article, and I was saying to myself, I'm seeing words like hygiene bank and hygiene poverty. This is 2025, and yet we are dealing with Dickensian problems. So is it right that the government are finally taking steps to address what is something that could easily have been addressed? The 10 years or so that we are being told by the British Dental Association that we were going to be facing this crisis. Absolutely, it's right that they should be doing that, and we should be supporting the government to do this.
Claudia, do you agree?
No, not at all. I think it's very well-intentioned, but it's totally misguided. You know, the fact that we're having these Dickensian problems is not through poverty, it's through lack of education, it's through parents not taking responsibility for their children. Teachers are already way overworked. You know, they shouldn't be expected to be teaching things that actually should be taught at home. Parents, the very least that parents can do is be teaching their children to brush their teeth twice a day.
But isn't it... I take your point about education, but parents are saying, look, they can't afford the dental care, the toothbrushes, the toothpaste.
I don't buy it. Sorry, you can pick up a toothbrush for pennies. Toothpaste is not expensive, and I would also be really confident to say that if you really were that low on funds and you couldn't afford a toothbrush and toothpaste, that you could get one for free. A food bank would give you a toothbrush and toothpaste. I don't think there's any excuse. I think blaming costs is rubbish. OK,
well, we're going to get straight back to that. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to be hearing from you after this break. So do give before the break, we were saying, Claudia, you know, you can buy toothbrushes for very, very cheap, you know, for pennies. But, Claudia, in the break, you were telling us that actually the British Dental Association has said that it's part of the reason we're in this trouble is that some of those cheap toothbrushes don't do the job that they need to do.
Exactly. And this is the problem that we're having. We're having people who don't understand poverty telling people that they should just do with. And actually just doing with is not enough.
OK.
And this is a problem with the crisis we're facing.
All right, let's get into the calls. Brenda's in Hampshire. Brenda, welcome to the show. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I don't think, definitely, that the government should have to subsidise toothbrushes for children. That's down to the parents, not the government.
OK, but...
I mean, I knew this was going to happen because my niece works in a nursery, and they've been told a long time ago that they might have to clean the children's teeth. And it's just not right. That's the fact. The family should do that, nothing to do with people in nurseries.
Go on, Paul.
But Brenda, my children had to go to nursery because my husband and I were self-employed. I know parents who are working 2 jobs. So my children had to go to nursery from like 8 a.m. in the morning. They had their breakfast at nursery. Lots of children have breakfast at school. Of course they need to be supported, don't they, to have their teeth brushed after breakfast in a nursery environment or a school environment?
To me, this is in the same vein. Apparently, there's children turning up to preschool that aren't potty trained, and they're in nappies, and the nursery school teachers are expecting to change the nappies of these little children. Where's the responsibility of the parents on these children?
We've had those similar debates as well. Brenda, thank you for kicking us off. Catherine's in North Yorkshire. Catherine, do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah, I do. Because I think when I was at school, we had dental people come in. We had school nurses. We haven't got anything like that. Children aren't being taught about toothbrushing and stuff. We had to do our teeth after lunch. Mm-hmm. So I just think coming in, I used to love it. You know, you used to get the free little crests and stuff, toothpaste.
But Catherine, I mean, what we heard earlier and what Claudia's been saying, isn't that the responsibility of the parents? And Paula made the point that, look, parents might be holding down 2 jobs, very busy, but still, that's got to fall under parenting responsibilities, right? Just like you teach your kids to look both ways before crossing the road, you're going to teach them about brushing their teeth properly.
Yes, we do. We absolutely do. But I think if it's reinforced in school, it might get children to take a little bit more responsibility, becomes part of their routine. I mean, that's what I had as a child. I mean, my parents didn't just say, "Oh, school will do that. We won't put it on the shopping list." Of course, we had it.
So it's an additional layer of reinforcing the teeth hygiene. Catherine, thank you. Let's move to Rosemary, who's in Kent. Rosemary, welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
I would like to state that first and foremost, it's not the school's responsibility.
Right.
And when people are saying they've done 2 jobs, 3 jobs, when I came to this country, I was doing 2 jobs. I have 5 children, myself and my husband, and it's our responsibility because no child begged to come into this world.
Okay.
And you're the parents, it's your responsibility. When the child in the morning, I used to get up early because my husband used to leave early for work because he works in the bank. I work as a civil servant to make sure the children brush their teeth and all this sort of thing before getting them who was going to uni, who was going to school.
Okay, but Rosemary, let me ask you a question. You put your case beautifully forward, but if we are seeing young children as young as 4 and 5 having to go to hospital to get teeth removed, at the expense of everybody else, I should add, because that operation is going to cost money. And if you have the knock-on effect of what happens to that child, what happens to their family, isn't it better for the school to be able to do something to prevent that so we don't get to that stage?
Yes, but what I'm trying to say, say here is that if you, the parents, make sure that they brush your teeth in the morning, and before they go to bed at night, they brush your teeth. Children follow the footsteps of their parents.
Okay, Rosemary, I'm going to leave it there. Mary's in London. Mary, welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
I would like to say that the woman in pink doesn't know what she's talking about.
Hang on, wait. Claudia, orange, pink. Okay, yes, go on.
She has never been in a situation where she hasn't got a toothbrush. I have as a child, and I'm still suffering from my bad teeth. I don't think that blaming the children have to suffer. And a school is about teaching, and I think this is the most important thing to learn about taking care of yourself. And if the school takes on the responsibility of making sure that the children look after themselves, then I think this is one of the most important things they can teach.
Claudia?
Mary, shouldn't we be looking at more of the cause? So looking, why do these children have such terrible teeth? Is it the terrible diets? Is it the amount of sugar that they're having? Is it lack of access to dentists? I would say this money would be much better spent in trying to fix a NHS dentistry system that is collapsing. Like, it's so difficult to get a dentist appointment. Dentistry is meant to be free for children, so there really should be no excuse for them to have poor teeth. But actually, access to dentists is a much bigger problem. So instead of just, expecting teachers to pick up the slack, why aren't we actually funding dentists more and giving these families access to decent dentist care?
Well, possibly that, because dentists are very expensive. But as I said, all parents are not good parents, and maybe originate from their parenting. So it should be us that know what's good for our children. And yes, maybe the schools should be talking about healthy food and what we shouldn't be. But as I say, I don't think the children should suffer.
Okay, Mary, I'm just going to leave it there. You've made your point, and thank you for doing so and talking about your lived experience as well. Good point to remember. Not all parents are good parents. Not all parents are able to give those basic lessons, and perhaps That's where the school comes in. Let's hear another one, call from Sylvia, who's in Portsmouth. Sylvia, welcome to the show. Do you think this is a good idea?
Well, yes, because when I was, as the lady said before, when I was a child, we used to have the dentist come at the school every so often. And if you had a card to go to the dentist, then you made sure that your teeth. But sometimes it might be a good idea to have the parents at the school to teach them to show how to show the children to clean their teeth.
Yeah.
But the dentist at the school used to come once a month, check us, then we had to go to the school dentist and have our teeth done. If you were one of the children that went to the school dentist, the children used to say, "Oh, you got dirty mouth," and that taught us to make sure our teeth were clean and our breath was clean.
Didn't want to be the one that goes to the dentist. Sylvia, thank you. I mean, I wonder how many dentists actually do visit schools at the moment. I don't recall my daughter saying that they had a dentist come in.
Not as far as I'm aware. I've got 3, as you know, Alexis, and I'm not aware of any. But just in terms of the healthcare, though, that the state does provide through schools, you know, we still get immunisations through school, which is obviously incredibly valuable. We still do have pastoral care, etc. So, and teachers are brushing their kids' teeth. Like, we see that in the research.
Well, look, thank you all for your calls on that and your messages. Reminder, later, Vanessa is going to be here asking what you think makes Britain great.